It is, yeah.
I'm curious, so what were the aspects of the Mongo side that you think you like were the most valuable to you as you were kind of both getting started and kind of growing the business?
Yeah, I think having seen different approaches to monetizing open source, and also deciding that I didn't want to take outside investment because I had friends who'd been badly burnt by that, I thought that I would start with the tried and tested model of selling services around
Hmm.
open source to
Okay.
begin with. And that would enable me to hopefully make enough money to hire somebody, and then hopefully enough money to be able to then invest profits into experimenting with open source projects ourselves. And then at some point that there would be enough traction in the open source projects that we created that I might then get the chance to create a product strategy or a paid for proprietary. So like either a landscape from Canonical world or a MongoDB enterprise feature, around automation or backup, whatever it is around the project. So I did have a plan that it was going to start with services, hopefully be successful enough with that to create some open source projects, and then hopefully at some point then be able to experiment with products. But it wasn't, I didn't. Mark had, he'd sold his previous company Thought for $750 million, and MongoDB with Max Schissen, who was the CEO at the time, they just got investment of a couple hundred million. So they clearly had the money to be able to do something slightly different. Whereas I knew I was going to have to go through this long journey of kind of testing. But I'd had the experience of selling around all these different models to know that if I took this one small step with a company this way, I might be able to get to the next step, to the next step, to the next step. So I was always hoping to sort of test out the various different models, but it was just going to take a bit longer. But I saw Kubernetes as the perfect vehicle for that, because a little bit like Landscape was the value on top of Ubuntu early days, I saw Kubernetes as being the value on top of the Docker and container ecosystem. So Docker was going to create the market, I thought, but the value was going to be created for companies with the automation and the wrapper around it. And I likened Kubernetes in my head to Landscape at Ubuntu, and then with some of the MongoDB enterprise features around the open source database.
Really fascinating, yeah.
Yeah.